Have you ever wondered why some boats sail smoothly down the river of life, while others capsize in the gentlest current? I've watched this river for a long time, from a quiet bend where the water tells its stories. I've learned that the strength of the boat matters little, and the kindness of the current matters even less. The true difference, the secret that separates a triumphant voyage from a sunken wreck, lies not in the vessel, but in the hands of the one who navigates it. It is a journey that demands 3 sacred tools: diligence, responsibility, and the unwavering strength of self-reliance. Without them, even the most promising start can lead to a desolate shore. I remember my own Uncle Arthur. He was a man who began his journey not in a simple raft, but in a magnificent galleon, gifted to him by his parents. It had polished oak decks, sails of the finest silk, and a hull that promised to cut through any wave. In his youth, he never had to learn the art of sailing. When the wind died, friends and family were always there to row for him. When a sail tore, a paid hand would mend it. When the stars were hidden and the way was unclear, he simply anchored and waited for someone to guide him. He believed his fine ship and his connections were all he would ever need. He saw no reason to soil his hands with tar or strain his eyes reading ancient maps. Laziness was his comfort, and reliance on others was his creed. But the river of life is patient, and it eventually tests every sailor. The day came when his friends had their own voyages to chart. His family's strength had waned, and his inherited wealth had run dry. A storm, no bigger than any he had faced before, rolled in. This time, there was no one to furl the sails, no one to steer him through the rocks. He stood on the deck of his splendid ship, a stranger to its workings, helpless and terrified. The galleon, for all its grandeur, was just wood and cloth without a capable captain. It was dashed against the rocks, and Uncle Arthur washed ashore with nothing but the bitter lesson that a gift without the skill to wield it is a burden. Leaning on others is like building your house on a melting block of ice. It will support you for a time, but inevitably, you will fall. This lesson of foresight extends beyond just our own skills. It applies to the very resources we depend upon. I once observed a tribe of golden monkeys who lived in a valley blessed with a grove of mango trees. During the long, sun-drenched summer, the trees overflowed with sweet, heavy fruit. Most of the monkeys lived in a state of blissful indulgence. They would feast until their bellies were full, then spend the rest of their days playing and sleeping in the warm branches. "Why work," they chattered, "when paradise provides?" A few, however, the elders and a small group of diligent youngsters, spent their afternoons differently. They gathered the fallen mangoes, sliced them thin, and laid them out on hot rocks to dry in the sun. They worked while others played, storing the sweet, leathery strips in the hollows of ancient trees. The playful monkeys mocked them. "Fools," they cried, "you waste the sunshine. Live for today, but the sun does not shine forever." The air grew crisp, the leaves turned brown, and a harsh winter descended upon the valley, blanketing the grove in a thick layer of snow. The mango trees were bare, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching for a forgotten sun. The monkeys who had only feasted and played now shivered with hunger. Their short-term pleasure had led to long-term scarcity. They begged for scraps from the diligent few, who now had a store of food to sustain them through the cold months. The planners survived, not because they were luckier, but because they understood a fundamental truth. You cannot drink from the river today and expect it to be full tomorrow without the coming of rain. Diligence is the act of ensuring there will be rain. It is the wisdom to work for your future self, even when your present self desires only to play. Of course, the river is not always a simple test of endurance. Sometimes it harbors hidden dangers. In the dense foliage along the riverbank lived a young chameleon, born with the most spectacular patterns. His skin could swirl with emerald green, ruby red, and sapphire blue. He was proud of his vibrant colors and loved to show them off, basking on the most visible leaves. His parents tried to teach him the art of camouflage, the subtle skill of blending into his surroundings. "It is our most important tool," his mother would whisper, her own body melting into the texture of a lichen-covered branch. "It is how we survive." But the young chameleon found the practice dull. Why fade to a boring brown when he could be a dazzling jewel? He refused to learn, believing his brilliance was its own form of protection. One afternoon, as he displayed his most magnificent shades of crimson and gold, a shadow fell over him. A hawk, with eyes that missed nothing, had been circling high above. To the predator, the other chameleons were invisible, perfectly merged with the bark and leaves. But the proud young chameleon stood out like a dropped flower petal on a dark stone. He was beautiful, conspicuous, and utterly defenseless. He learned too late that responsibility to oneself includes mastering the tools of survival, for the world does not always applaud your brilliance. Sometimes, it sees it as an opportunity. This instinct to protect our young is powerful, but even it can be misguided. I knew a mother whose daughter, Elara, was the center of her universe. The mother worked day and night at a grueling job in a distant town, sending back money to ensure Elara had the finest things. Elara had a sturdy boat, warm clothes, and plenty of food, but she was always alone. Her mother was a ghost, a name on a letter attached to a parcel. Elara didn't want a newer sail. She wanted her mother to teach her how to mend the old one. She didn't want a pre-filled pantry. She wanted to learn how to fish alongside her mother, their laughter echoing over the water. She yearned for presence, not presents. The mother believed her sacrifice was the ultimate expression of love. She was building a perfect life for her daughter, brick by material brick. But she was building a house with no one in it. One day, the mother returned, her hair gray and her hands worn, having finally saved enough to retire. She arrived at the dock to find Elara's boat gone. The girl, lonely and desperate for a connection she never had set off down the river by herself, ill-prepared but driven by a hollow ache for a life she felt was passing her by. The mother stood on the empty dock, surrounded by the useless treasure she had bought, realizing that in her blind quest to provide for her child's life, she had forgotten to be a part of it. This leads to the final, and perhaps most difficult lesson. It is the story of a father and his son, Leo. The father adored Leo with a fierce, protective love. He saw the river's dangers, the sharp rocks, the sudden whirlpools, the biting winds, and vowed his son would never face them. When they sailed together, the father always held the tiller. He mended every net. He navigated every storm. He made every decision. Leo was never allowed to take a risk, never permitted to make a mistake. The father saw this as kindness, a shield against the world's harshness. But what he was really building was a cage. Leo grew into a man, but his hands were soft, his eyes unpracticed in reading the clouds, and his heart was filled with a deep, unspoken fear of the water. He loved the river, but had never truly known it. The day came when the father's strength finally failed him. He could no longer sail. He turned to his son and said, "Leo, the boat is yours now." Leo looked at the tiller, at the vast, unpredictable expanse of water, and he was paralyzed with terror. He had been a passenger his entire life and had no idea how to be a captain. The father, in his effort to prevent his son from ever failing, had robbed him of the chance to ever succeed on his own. He had protected him from every scrape and bruise, but in doing so, had left him vulnerable to the one challenge that matters most, the challenge of living his own life. So you see, the river of life flows for us all. You can be like Uncle Arthur, waiting for others to row for you until you find yourself stranded. You can be like the playful monkeys, enjoying today so much that you starve tomorrow. You can be the proud chameleon, so in love with your own shine that you forget to learn how to protect it. You can be the sacrificing mother, who gives things but withholds herself, or the overprotective father, who in shielding his child from the journey, ensures he can never navigate it alone. Or you can choose another way. You can choose to be the navigator of your own vessel. You can learn to read the stars, to mend your own sails, and to row against the current when you must. You can feel the sting of the spray on your face and know that you are alive. You can make mistakes, and they will be your greatest teachers. You can face the storm and discover the unshakable strength within you. This journey is yours. The responsibility is yours. The power is yours. Pick up your oar. The river is waiting. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. See you next time.